Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 3 of my good, the bad, and the ugly garden tour. So y'all like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. This is April 18th and I'm filming this. I'm trying to get all this done in one day. It's getting a little overcast in the sky. Thought it'd be a good day. So we're in the backyard now. So probably get 2 more parts out of this. I'm trying to be real detailed, try to show y'all everything, and whether it's good, bad, or ugly, like I said. And so this is part 3. You know, like, share, all that good stuff. And so let's begin. All right, guys, we're gonna start right here in the backyard. I did film a quickish backyard garden tour not too long ago, so I'm gonna start in a different spot this time. And we'll start right here at this Red Baron Japanese maple. This is an upright red maple. I planted this one here probably close to 5 years ago now. It was a 1 gallon. It's thickened up a lot. It's over 6 foot tall. A little spindly at the top. That growth will catch up. But it holds this color throughout the season really well. Just a super good heat tolerant one. Does get a little leaf spot on it in the spring, as you can see. Just a little fungal issue from rain and stuff, but not a big deal. So Red Baron, it's kind of grows more straight up, or supposed to. You see, I had to do some pruning on it last year, so it did shoot up some odd growth. It's now leaning over, so I probably have to prune some of that back later on. But yeah, it's going to be more of a 4 to 5 foot wide, probably about 7 to 8 foot tall in about 10 years, probably maybe a little taller. But it's been a nice one. It's done really well in this spot. I seem to like this location. It's grown really well. So Acer Pomade Red Baron. Down below it, do have some salvia that I planted just from a little liner pot last year. The bees are all over it. Can't remember the name of it. See if I can find a tag real quick. Now I guess I lost the tag. Anyway, it's a pink salvia. Bees and pollinators love it. It's what I like to put in the garden. A lot of pollinator plants for the bees and butterflies. Guys, I got weeds and everything else going on, so it is a little ugly. But behind it here, mixed in with these weeds, let me pull a few real quick. This is a called Har Yama. This Osmanthus heterophyllus. It's a spiky, compact, fragrant Osmanthus. Really cool plant, really sharp. Just thought it was an interesting plant. Picked it up on a sale. So I thought I'd try it out here. It's supposed to get 3 to 4 foot in 10 years, I believe. But just a pretty cool little Osmanthus. I'm trying to start collecting a few of them at least. So we got Har Yama, and I got a little maple next to it. Did get some frost damage. This is Bazinga. It did get some frost damage. It's not looking that great right now. One I didn't get covered up. Got some nice lime green foliage on it right now. Haven't seen much red out of it yet. A lot of the frost probably knocked a lot of that growth back. But yeah, Bazinga. I think this is a NJ Acer introduction. I believe you named it after the TV show Big Bang Theory. The character on there has a catchphrase. It says Bazinga. I believe he liked that show, and one reason he named it after it. But yeah, it's supposed to get some nice orange to red growth on it in the spring. Have not seen it yet. Hopefully next season. I got another China Girl holly. Nothing spectacular about it. This actually might get moved or dug up and something replanted in a spot. It's a good place filler, takes up some space, but nothing great about it. below it, I've got some butterfly weed, butterfly flower. I had two different kinds planted here. One was an orange and one was a yellow. This is probably the orange. Yeah, I got a few little sprouts of it coming up. Bees and butterflies absolutely love this. Do not know the horticultural name. If I find it out, I'll put it down. I'll post it on the screen here. But pollinators love it. I love it. I love pollinator plants for the garden. So yeah, it's butterfly weed, butterfly flower. Under here I have one I highly recommend. Acer Pomade Yellow Threads. Linear lobum style. Gets this red to pink new growth all over it, just constantly. And this thing is in full sun. This maple is in full sun all day. It may get a little shade around 4 in the afternoon, but for the most part it's in sun all day. This was planted as maybe a 2-gallon. I had it in a container, grew it off to maybe a 2-gallon. I think I planted this one August 2022 maybe, cannot remember, but it's probably about close to 5 foot tall, thickened up, doing really well in that spot. In front of it, another Acer Pomade, and this is a Macawa seedling. I think I planted this last March or April, and this thing showed off non-stop through May to June. As you can see, guys, if y'all don't have any Macawa seedlings, so they're so worth it, because all of them are different, throw off some different colors. A lot of them will hold colors for quite a while. This thing has been just colored up. You can see the older growth down here, more green. You got the newer growth up top here, more red, orange, and peach. This thing just rocked out all last year through May. Just colored up really well, and even in May it threw off some bright red new flushes. So get y'all Macawa seedling if y'all don't have them. Highly underrated, great additions to anybody's garden. Next to here I have some catmint. Actually just need to dig up. It's overrun with this weed right here. I don't know what it is, but it gets some purple flowers on it, on the weed, and it's just intermingled with that plant. I need to just take that out. I love catmint too, but I probably just need to take that out, maybe plant something else or plant something similar to it. Maybe another catmint, who knows? If I can get all that aggressive weed right there out. I don't know what that is, but so I got some catmint there. Behind it I have a phoenix, Acer Pomade Phoenix. Flowers pink in the spring, as you can see. Nice vibrant pink on it. And the foliage fades to the green with the red to pink edging on it. This one's been here a couple of years. Hadn't got a whole lot taller. It'll get 7, 8 foot in 10 years maybe. It's grown maybe a foot since I've gotten it. Got it staked up. I think I'll do better once maybe I get that catmint out from around it. Yeah, I got some nandinas back here. I got a Syria that I pulled out of the ground that didn't do good after a few years. Had a lot of winter dieback a couple years in a row. And when I pulled it out, I can see it hadn't rooted out a whole lot in 2 or 3 years, and it should have rooted out a lot further than that. So I went ahead and pulled it and replaced it with something else. But I'll show you all that in a minute. Got some seeds I'm starting back here, some marigolds and zinnias and monarda. Got a little germination on some of it. I think I started this April 9th, so it's been about 9 days. Another little maple that is struggling, probably because I've stepped on it a couple times. This is Acer Pomade Mayday. This is Mayday number 3 that I have. I do love the Maydays, and there's a story behind why I got 3 of them. I originally bought the big one that I have, and then I bought a backup the next year, just a backup, planted it. My backup started dying, so I bought this third one last year, I believe, 2023. So it's been a year apart that I bought each one of them. And then my backup that I dug up, I put in the pot that I planted, I put in the pot, and it's now doing, it's still small, but it's doing a lot better. So now I have 3 of them. And now the half of this one has died out, and the left's, it's only got 1 branch showing, but it's got a good amount of foliage. Probably hasn't helped. I've stepped on it here a few times. Acer Pomade Mayday. Back up here, another macaw variant. This is Tattoo. This one has struggled a little bit since I planted it. I planted it in the fall of 2022. Then the Arctic blast came through here and just nailed it. And it took a whole year to recover. And then it got hit again in our late freeze. I think we had another late freeze in March or February after it done leafed out. So it got hit again, knocked it back a little bit, as you can see. But it's doing okay. It's got some new growth coming off of it. So I'll watch it and water it. Next to it is a newly planted Japanese princess. I had a really nice, probably 3-foot tall Japanese princess that I planted here. Same time I planted that Tattoo, actually. Planted it here, I want to say October, November 2022, maybe. Went through the Arctic freeze, didn't get covered, or maybe it did get covered, and it just suffered from there on out. It finally actually pulled the Japanese princess that was here, and just planted this new one. So it's looking good so far. Stake that up, this leader. This was I think I planted this maybe about 2 weeks ago, a week ago maybe. So I'm hoping it does good in this spot. Acer Pomade Japanese Princess. Next to it, Acer Pomade Allen's Gold, excuse me. This is rough bark maple. It's supposed to get some fish ring or pine bark on it as it ages. It's supposed to be taller in the full sun. Another one got nailed late winter on some tender foliage. But for the most part, I think from here on out, maybe it'll do okay. Got some great orange coloring on the leaf. That leaf goes to yellow to green right afterwards when it loses that orange color. Show you these containers I have. This little pot, I have an Acer Japonicum Giant Moon planted. It's doing okay. It struggled last year, but it's making a comeback. Then I have a Peaches and Cream. It got hit with some frost, but it's looking a lot better after a few weeks. See the coloring on that. Next to this, I think this is can I remember what this is? I think this is Sharp, supposed to be Sharp's Pygmy. Bought it as a small 1 gallon. Again, this is the best it's looked so far. Just small 1 gallon, but it's done put on. It's probably triple the size of what it is when I planted it a few years ago. Then next to this, this is Acer Pomade Celebration. It struggled for me last year. It's done a little better this year for me. Haven't been impressed with it so far, but maybe it'll get better. Who knows? I had this in the front yard and actually just moved it to the back to try to give it some more sun, hoping that would help it. So far, I'm not gonna say I was excited about it at first, but I will say it's hasn't lived up to the hype for me just yet, but maybe it'll get better. Now, those leaves look pretty good. Got some nice coloring on them, but hopefully it gets better. Here I got a Pancake Juniper. that I've yet to plant. Next to it, I have a Catalina Yatsubusa. That was one that got nailed with the frost, but it's rebounded slowly. See the new growth coming off of it. Next to it, in a container, have Yamakagi, another Japonicum. Super vigorous grower, huge leaves on it. Probably not the best one to put in a pot like I did, because I mean, this thing was a quarter of the size when I planted it in a pot last year, and I mean it's over 4 foot tall on the pot. But awesome looking leaf, great looking Japonicum, great fall color. Japonicums put off the great fall color. Acer Japonicum Yamakagi. And then I have one that I actually brought back from the open house that just kind of caught my eye. It's not a cultivar, but it is a Acer Japonicum X crossed with Pseudo-Sibodianum. I think the history I got was this was found in New York somewhere. The leaves were just super interesting. Great coloring on them. Just a full 1 gallon. Just really caught my eye, and I thought that cross was just really interesting, so I bought it and brought it home. And where I'll plant it, I've yet to decide. So I'll tuck that back in here. Now moving on. This is what's left of a dawn redwood called Shermans Nordet. If I'm saying that right. It was great last year. I have no idea what happened this year, but did not come back out. Give a little scratch test. That's brown. That's brown. Scratch test is negative for life, so I'll pull that. And think about maybe putting, I don't know, not another conifer, maybe putting my Mr. Atakawa there. Think about doing that. All right, moving along, have a Hime Sojo here. Acer Pomade Hime Sojo. Grows more like of a shrub form. This will get 4 to 5 foot tall and probably maybe 3-ish to 4 foot wide in 10 years. I actually planted 2 of them. Got one here and one there on that side of the walk. And so thought it'd be nice to have 2 kind of upright shrub like Japanese maples planted here. This one looks surprisingly different for right now because this one is newly planted, but next year I bet it'll get that vibrant red color. And this does well in full sun. It's done very well for me in full sun. This one has. This one's been planted a year longer. That one planted about a week ago. Let's see. Yeah, I'll show you what I got on my porch right here. This is the infamous Acer Pomade Red Panda. Now this has been on this patio, this shaded patio, until I think I'm gonna pot this one up in a container for a few years before I plant it. This is a gift from Mr. Maple. Super stoked about it. Still come out here and look at it every day. It's still getting red flushes coming over it. It did go greener because I left it under this shaded patio while temperatures were swinging back and forth just to protect it. But I'm gonna get it in a pot pretty soon and grow it off for a few years in a pot and then decide what I want to do with it. Yeah, so Mr. Maple, if you're watching or if anybody, you see this, thank you again for that red panda. I'm highly appreciative of it. And still just over the moon about it. Next to it, this is a little Japanese cedar. I like these little mini conifers, so I've started buying a few of them here and there. Need to get this one in the ground or a little container as an accent plant, so I'll plant that sometime. And I have Acer Pomade Snow Kitten. I've kept this in the pot. Now that it's putting on foliage, this thing is drying out a lot quicker than it was. So I am having to water it more. I'm thinking I may have to maybe up pot it next year. Probably leave it in this pot this year. But it's done fine for me so far. I've just kind of left it on this patio and ignored it until I knew it needed water. Got some good variegation on it. I think if I gave it more morning sun, it'd have more pinks in it. But it stayed under this shaded patio since I bought it in November last year. It opened at a Mr. Maple open house. Acer Pomade Snow Kitten. It's doing well, doing okay for me. Moving on. Guys, this may be 5 parts. I'm already 20 minutes in. All right, this is a Weeping Wonder Ginkgo. Slow growing, upright weeping ginkgo. Probably 4 or 5 foot tall and 10 to 12 years. Probably not even that fast. This was planted as a 1 gallon. It's only maybe 18 inches tall. I've thought about moving this and planting maybe a Makawa type here. Seeing how I'm gonna put maybe a Mystic Makawa right over there where that redwood was. Still thinking about it, but nice weeping ginkgo. Goes yellow in the fall. Real slow growing. So, but it's done okay. It's done okay right here. See some more containers. This container I have an orangeola, and this is a tough plant. Beautiful coloration on it. This one was left out during our late freezing temperatures. And it had new growth on it. New growth got nipped, as you can see right here. It's just, if you can see, it's just hanging there. I just need to trim a little bit of stuff off. Yeah, see that just hanging, but it's recovered like a champ. Looks great. Next to it here is another Makawa variant. Not too common, I guess more on the rare side. This is Acer Pomade Chaparo. This one actually has like a lily pad kind of structure to it, as you can see, but the leaves are just super thin on them, and the coloring is very different. As you can see, it's got kind of some peachy orange. I don't know if that's coming across, and the lobes on the leaves are really thin. Looks almost like a linear lobum almost with the leaves. You see the size of the leaves. There's my pinky, and there's my finger right there. But just a super interesting variety. This is a gift from another friend. Had it in this pot for a while. Been enjoying it a lot. Acer Pomade Chaparo. Might as well show you these other containers. This is what's left of Adney. Acer Pomade Adney. This one was left out during the cold and the frost. It got hit, as you can see, melted this top, but it's coming back. New foliage looks fantastic on it. Peachy pink with green veining. Looks really nice. It's coming back in spots, so it's even got buds right up here, if you can see that. So it's coming back. Next to it in a pot, Acer Pomade Hanoi. Got nailed with the frost. At this point, I think this, from what I've seen, this is mostly reverted Hanoi. So basically just a red upright weeper. But if it comes back, you know, it's got some new growth starting to come back in spots, but it got nailed. So we'll see if it makes it. But it has done well in sun. I've got it back here just kind of by the porch recovering. Moving on, next one. This is Acer Pomade Tom Thumb. This is one of the rarer ones of the Makawa types. Got this one in July 2021, I believe. It's a 1 gallon, and it's put on a good amount of growth since then. It's pretty thick at the base. I don't know if you can see that. Really cool variety, kind of a rare variety. One I was just ecstatic to get. Acer Pomade Time Thumb. Next to it here in a container, and the sun is coming out and it's trying to rain. And we'll get through this bed and then we're going to cut this part off and start part 4. This is Mystic Makawa. This is one I'm probably getting ready to plant. Once again, this is probably year 3 of it. Best it's looked so far. Got a little bit of dieback on it, but so I got a little new growth coming out right there. I don't know if you can see that. So I'll leave it for now. It's one I'm probably going to plant pretty soon. Mystic Makawa, another Makawa variant. See the pink growth coming off of it. It's handled full sun really well. Back here, have some more Catmint. Then I have another Osmanthus. This is Kaori Hime, I believe. Small leafed Osmanthus. Grew a pretty good bit since I planted it. Did okay with the cold. Got a little bit of hit a little bit, but not bad at all. And it's done well. Behind this Mystic Makawa, try to get out of the shadow. This is Acer Pomade Golden Falls. Now I've been meaning to move this one for the last year or two. Never got around to it. So, and this one has actually done okay. This one gets full sun right here. It bleaches it out, but honestly, it hasn't done horribly bad. Even in July, I mean, it gets a little sun scald, a little burn on the top, but for the most part, it'll bleach it out, and then it'll throw off a little brown edging on it, but has done pretty well, especially if you keep it watered and mulched. That will help. So I'm gonna try to move that one next year. That's more of a ground cover. I'll try to get that moved next year. And I have some cone flowers here, some agapanthus. Have about 4 of them. The Makawa Yatsubusa lollipop that I need to move. This whole bed is getting revamped. I have shrubs along this foundation, probably shrubs in front, maybe some small shrubs around each of these maples and other things. I'll get to it hopefully this year, maybe this fall. I have some Mobilia planted. It looked great when I planted them, but when I pulled them out of the pot to plant them, bought 3-gallon pots, and it was basically a 1-gallon stuffed in a bunch of peat moss that I got from a local nursery here. And I think I planted them in July. They still got buds on them, but they've struggled a lot. I've almost thought about digging them up and moving them. Tried to plant them high, a little bit high, because I'd planned to come in with some dirt, some mulch. That one's looking the worst. That one's not looking horrible, but I think they took a lot of root damage when I planted them in July. I planted them on a cloudy day, but still they suffered. But we'll see what happens with them. All right, moving on to another maple. We got Acer Pomade MAA. Try to stay out of the shadow. This is just a fantastic cultivar. It's handled full sun for me like a champ. Gets great coloring. I don't know if you can see that. It's hard for me to see in the camera, it's so bright out here. But this one I recommend to everybody. I think this one should be in everybody's garden. Everybody's garden. Handles sun like a champ. Is year-round interest, spring to fall. Just never stops. I mean, look at those new flushes up there. That is just outstanding. That's like a vibrant pink to red. And as you can see, it's growing more upright. Acer Pomade MAA, get you one if you don't have one. All right, moving on to another maple. This was planted just a few days ago. This is Acer Pomade Shiranami. Older cultivar. I want to say this is dated back to the 1800s maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but super sun tolerant. Gets great coloring on the leaves, as you can see. Just basically an oldie but a goodie. And this is where a Acerpom was planted. But I pulled the Acerpom, and I'm gonna try this Shiranami here, see if it does any better. Moving on, this is Acer Pomade Hop's Dwarf. Love this cultivar. This thing is just outstanding. And this thing is just so gnarly even during the winter. It's got a great structure to it. And it comes out in the spring. You see that vibrant pink growth on it. Just a shingled layering habit. Almost, you know, just basically almost like you could almost classify it as a Macawa type. I mean, to me, that thing is just super gnarly. Super slow growing. So this one's only been planted here maybe a year and a half. So it's got a long ways to go. Guys, a few more things I'm gonna show you, then I'm gonna cut it off and go to part 4. This is Miss Piggy, Acer Pomade Miss Piggy. Has some, this one gets some fasciated growth on it. As you can see here, has some dieback on it. We get some fasciations on it. You guess you can call it some alternating leaves, weird, awkward growth. It's handled full sun really well here. Acer Pomade Miss Piggy. And I have a flowering Magnolia here called Kiki's Burn. This is a dwarf Magnolia. Gets 34 foot tall in 10 years. As you can see, I've got it staked up. It's already flowered. Got a little frost damage, but it'll recover. Got a Hanoi cypress called Sherman. Hope y'all can see that. Acer Pomade, not Acer Pomade, excuse me. What is it? I think it's Chamacypris obtusa, if I'm right. Sherman. Some really gnarly growth on it, real structural. Gets a little sun during the day, shade in the afternoon. So far it's doing okay there. Got some hollies underplanted here under this red Japanese maple. Not sure which variety it is. There's some peonies here. Got a cool Nandina. Man, I can't even remember the name of it. I'll look it up and put it on the screen if I can remember it. But it's really interesting, like wiry foliage Nandina. Just super interesting and different. Again, I'll put the name on the screen if I find it. And then I'm gonna end this video right here. This is a what's left of Capercy's dwarf. Something happened. I don't know if you can see that. Something came over and broke like 3 branches off of it, and there's only 1 branch growing. And it is above the graft. Is that above the graft? Anyway, looks like it's above the graft. Maybe. I have to look at it a little closer. The foliage looks a little different. Anyway, that's what's left of it. So I may end up pulling that and putting something else there. So that's it for part 3, guys. If you followed along, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching.